Shut the fuck up! What's up, everybody? I am back. We are back in season 2. I got my little brother on here, Noah. So I did an episode with Noah. He was actually the second episode that I ever did, and I was on Wi-Fi. We were just talking about it a minute ago. It was all pixelated. We had a bad connection. I had to scrap the video, and I've been trying to get him back on. He's a busy man. He's making moves. So I finally got him back on here. I just wanted to have him on, man. It's my wife's little brother, and I fucking love this kid. I've grown to have a huge heart for him. He's doing big things. We're going to get into some of that. He served some time as well. But you know, I talk with Noah quite a bit while I'm out on the road and when I'm at home, and we've gone up to Cleveland to see him once at this point. We're shooting to get back up there to see him, but I love you, dude. Like you're a good dude. I love your fucking sister. I love that you're her little brother because you're just cool to fucking talk to. I can sit back and shoot the shit with you through real quick and tell everybody, like, where'd you grow up? What was life like growing up? And we'll go from there.
Well, I grew up in a little city called Lakewood, Ohio. It's just on the border of Cleveland and just on the west side of Cleveland. It touches the west side of Cleveland. I mean, I had a normal life growing up. It was, you know, I have two brothers, Owen and Luke, and my sister, my older sister. And it was normal growing up. I mean, you would call it I don't know, the all-American childhood. You know, I played baseball. I don't know. I had my brothers around. I had a neighborhood full of good kids, and yeah, it was normal. I had both my parents in my life until I was about 12 or 13, and yeah, it was all normal. I mean, I couldn't complain. I cannot make any complaints about my childhood at all.
So when did you start getting into trouble? Like what did you start doing? What was the kind of catalyst that got you into?
So I started to get into trouble when I first heard that my parents were going to split. And, you know, at the time you think like, that's never going to happen. Like, you know, you can't even imagine something like that. And so I started to get into trouble and start to drink and kind of smoke at around 12 or 13 years old. It was, you know, it was kind of like maybe a 1 day a week thing and maybe 2 day, you know, weekend kind of thing, you know. Yeah, it was, it started out as, you know, something that I never would thought would turn into a serious problem down the road. And, right. I mean, it later did. And, you know, I'm here now and I'm happy that, I actually went through everything that I went through. And, I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't, you know, experience a lot of the things I have.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. You and I have had this conversation actually, and I've said on numerous other episodes, you know, if you can't learn a lesson in what you've been through and you can't take away the positives even from failure, then you're never going to grow. Like it's part of success, dude. So,
absolutely.
I mean, once you can recognize that, you know, there's a lesson in everything. Once you can recognize that and once you see it and once you can kind of build from that, and it'll just do nothing but help you progress. And I think you've done that. Like I said, we talk quite a bit while I'm out on the road. And you know, you've had some hiccups and that's okay. I've had hiccups, you know, right. in the 10 years I've been home, I've had multiple hiccups. But with each of those hiccups, I've turned around and learned my lesson. You know, I've been able to look back and say, you know, it's okay. Like, and you don't beat yourself up over it either. And I know your sister, you made your sister and I nervous the last time, and we're not going to get into details, but you got so down on yourself about what had happened. And I kept trying to tell you, like, dude, it's okay. And that's what I want to, anybody listening to this needs to understand. It's okay that you fuck up. That's part of the process, you know? So, no, but I love the old I love the old adage or the old saying, the man on top of the mountain didn't just appear there. You know,
No.
it takes fucking work to get to the top of that mountain. So so what so where were you? Let's just go through briefly. Where were you locked up at, and what were your charges, and what led you to be there?
So, from our last video, I've actually grown since then. So it's, I think I have like a clear mind now to speak. You know what I'm saying? And it all started. The whole case stemmed. Well, the first original case was I used to actually paint graffiti a lot, and not to say that I'm good at vandalizing things, but I mean, I am a talented artist. I am a talented artist, and my first charge came from in 2018. I was caught on top of a 2-3 story building, 2 or 3 story building on top of a billboard, painting the billboard. Cleveland police got me. That was my first. They charged me with felony 5 vandalism and felony 5 possessing criminal tools. I went on the run for that once I got bonded out, and then later on down the road in 2020, I was at Michael J. Zone, a recreation center and park on the west side of Cleveland, and I was belligerent drunk. I don't, like I said, I remember snippets of that day, like if that's the best I could explain it. And I took, somebody's bicycle. I was so belligerent drunk that I thought it belonged to my little brother at the time, which actually wasn't even close to. It was not even close to, being my little brother's bike. And I noticed that.
He had a Huffy, and you took a Schwinn.
And it was not even the right. It was not even the right person either. And I look back on. I'm like, oh man, alcohol can do some crazy things. So that case in September of 2020. They posted it on 2nd District Cleveland Police Facebook. It got like 1.6K shares, and people that I went to school with were sharing this. People that that I've worked with were sharing this, and my dad actually, I love him to death, but my dad actually called 2nd District Police and was like, "Oh, that's my son," and I'm like. He thought that his name would be protected and that it wouldn't be on the paperwork. So when I ran for a little bit. I stayed in hotel rooms with the girl that I was dating at the time. And then I tried to go hide in rehab. Just honestly, at the end of the day, just that's being a coward, and I was
but you're also, dude, when you're in that mindset and because I remember I've started writing a book, and I just literally did a chapter about how, when you're fucked up in that mindset and you're not thinking right,
no.
It's anybody that's ever been to jail will do any fucking thing necessary to stay out of jail. Jail is the worst place on fucking earth, especially county. Especially county jail.
Oh yeah,
bro.
Absolutely.
Just bypass my county jail time and send me to prison by all means.
Absolutely. I can't stress that enough.
But I get it, and people don't understand that, because looking at it from an outside point of view, you're like, why? That's fucking stupid. Why would you run? You're an idiot. It's gonna catch up with you. The way with technology and things today, you're gonna get caught and you're gonna get railroaded for running, but people don't understand, you don't want to go to county jail.
No, it is not fun at all. There's nothing fun about that place.
All right, so you're running, and then it finally catches up to you. Your dad.
So I get caught at Kent State University. I don't remember getting caught there. What I was told is that the Ohio State troopers got me because I kept trying to steal from Sheets, and I had money on me, which was crazy. I had money on me, and I knew I had money on me because I woke up in jail and my commissary sheet was slid to me, and it was I had money on there. I'm like, okay, so I had money in my pockets, but I was trying to steal. Why? That product of Xanax and alcohol.
No, it's fucking Xanax. It's Xanax, bro. Hey, let me just tell you real quick, and then we're gonna go back. Only because it was around Christmas time, and I used to be real bad on benzos and Xannies and shit. And I blacked out one night, and I remember I woke up at Circle K parking lot to some guy leaned in my window. I was literally pulled in the entranceway, like blocking the whole entrance. This guy's leaned in my car and he's snapping his fingers. He's like, dude, are you okay? Are you okay? And I came to, and I was freaked at that point. I'm like, I just blacked the fuck out and drove down here. I get back to my place. I end up passing out. I had one of my buddies that was staying with me. It was around Christmas time, dude. And the next morning, I woke up to every fucking Christmas decoration, all the inflatable shit that was up and down the street that I lived on. I had stole it. Like him and I just went on this fucking like blacked out Zanny rampage, and they were all in my living room blown up. I walked out into like Christmas fucking Wonderland. It was wild, dude. Xannies are fucked up, dude. Like the fact
Yo,
that they're a legal drug for fucking people blows my mind.
absolutely. It's the
It's the
devil, I think.
Xannies. That's why you were stealing shit, was the
Yeah.
Xannies.
So I got caught there. Apparently the state troopers saw that I had a robbery warrant out for Cuyahoga County, an arrest warrant, and they took me back to Cuyahoga County. I woke back up in Cuyahoga County Jail, downtown Cleveland. I went through my hearings, I went through pre-trials and everything, and I ended up just I was on camera. I was on City of Cleveland cameras. You can't go in there and try to fight a case that, first of all, you straight up did. You're straight up guilty. There's no denying it. You're on video, audio and video. So like I said, I went through my hearings there. I got sentenced to 2 years originally, and later down the road, I didn't get any jail time credit, so it ended up turning into 2.5. I was rode out from Cuyahoga County Jail. I had my picture taken at Lorain, and if any of you guys know, Lorain is the northern part of Ohio's the reception center. So I took my picture there, but it was closed at the time due to COVID, and it was an APA supervision camp at the time. So they sent me to CRC in Orient, Ohio, which is the southern half's reception center for prisoners. So after I was at CRC, they took me to Ross, which is a level 3 closed security in Chillicothe, Ohio. I did a little bit of time there, and then I was later rode out to a medium minimum in Caldwell, Ohio, and that was Noble Correctional, and I finished my time out there, and I came home from there.
So there was something from our first episode that I wanted to talk to you about, because I watch a lot of YouTube documentaries on different prisons throughout the state. Now, I was never in a southern prison in Ohio. I went to Lake Erie Correctional, but I've run into a lot of it's fucking weird, dude. Like, guys in jail will pull any fucking leverage they can to flex on an outsider. And it's wild that, like, in Ohio, there's like a north and a south. And if you're a northern boy in a southern fucking penitentiary, like, you get fucking like rode on, bro. Like there's like this fucking, it's wild. Like, you're all from fucking Ohio. It's not like you're a fucking sex offender, but it's like, if you're a north boy in a southern prison, or you're a southern boy in a fucking north prison, they fucking, like, they gun for you, dude. It's wild. Did you run into anything like that while you were down there?
I mean, yes and no. Like, they'd make a comment or something. Like, I remember one day, there's this I remember this. He was from Columbus, actually. He had a mouthful of golds. He was
of course he did.
Yeah, and he's like, where are you from, white boy? And I just told him, I'm like, bro, I'm from Cleveland. I said, I'm not worried about any of that you're talking about. I'm not worried about none of it, bro. And he's like, oh, and then it stopped. Like, sure, I'm not gonna let somebody speak to me how they want to, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not letting that happen. And once they, I got into fights down there. Yeah, I got into it, but it wasn't, honestly, and I hate to put it like this, but compared to, I've never been to any other state correctional institutions, but, I have a lot of friends that have, but from what I've heard, the Ohio Department of Corrections is extremely watered down. And it's compared to a lot of other states, it's really not as not as bad as you would think it is. You know, like going there, you'd be like, oh, I'm going to prison. Like this is going to be crazy. Like,
Well, no, I mean, I did an episode with a buddy of mine that I've known for years. He went through Rikers. Now, Rikers is New York City's intake facility. It's kind of like
yeah,
their Lorraine, but it also serves as a county jail, I believe.
yeah,
Yeah. And he straight said he was like, it was his fucking second day on the range. He was on the third floor, and some dude got fucking tossed over the range.
yeah,
Like, and he said he was like, Chris, I've never been so fucking scared in my life. Now, obviously you were in Ross. Ross is kind of fucked up too, but I've watched documentaries on Ross. That fucking warden doesn't put up with shit. Like
no,
the warden
no,
at Ross is a fucking gangster. Like
yeah,
he's straight up, he's some like cowboy Bruce Wayne motherfucker. Like I don't know if you ever had any run-ins with him, but I know, but there's also shit that goes on at Ross. And I I don't know if Ohio's is as extremely watered down. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I mean, I've talked to guys that were locked up in California. Sonny Von Cleveland was just on. He was locked up out in California. He was locked up in Michigan. He was locked up in Ohio. Like Rikers, my buddy Ryan, he was locked up in fucking Rikers in Ohio. Like I think prison's prison. It's what you make of your time. It's who you associate with. It's what you do. If you stay the fuck out of the way and mind your own business, which is for anybody that's looking at potential jail time that might see this, that is rule number one. Don't get in there and start trying to make moves. Don't get in there and try and be a fucking kingpin. Like you go, you do your fucking time. You make sure you eat every night and you fucking get out as quick as you can.
yeah.
But absolutely. I mean, as long as you go in there with that mentality, I think you can kind of stay the fuck out of the way. Obviously, there's going to be, it's like rolling the dice, dude.
It's, I went down there and I honestly, for the most part, I got along with everybody. I really never had a problem. And I mean, yeah, like I said earlier, yeah, I got into fights and everything, but I mean, that's prison, that's jail,
Yeah.
But my biggest thing is like, I don't know where I was getting with that, but, I don't know. It's just don't get in trouble. Like this, like just don't get out of trouble. I thought coming home, like, oh man, this is gonna be so hard to stay out of trouble. And the biggest thing too is like everybody when they think they're going to prison, like, oh my God, this is gonna be crazy. This is really I'm not prepared for this. You really are though. You know why? Because the events and the things that you've been doing leading up to you going to prison, you've already been around a bunch of people that have either been to prison or on their way to prison, or you've already been around a bunch of, and I'm not saying people that have been to prison are garbage individuals, but you've already been around a bunch of people that already are in that mindset, and you're already prepared, dude. You're already there.
I've never heard anybody say it like that, and I love that you just said it like that, because you're absolutely right. You have to understand you are the average of the 5 people that you hang around with the most. So when you're out doing degenerate shit, doing hood rat shit, like
you are that.
you're already in that mindset. Like you're already fucking, I hate to use the term institutionalized, but for all intents and purposes, you already know how to navigate once you get inside. And it's solidly up to you if you want to go in there and make a change for the better, or fucking continue in your bullshit and come back out and end up back in fucking 6 months,
Absolutely. It's, the easiest thing is to return home. Keep continuing the behavior that you were, the behaviors that you had before you went to prison. The easiest thing is to come home and keep doing the same things. To be a real man is to come home, completely change your friend group, which is really hard. It's so hard. Create bonds with people, and you're really close with them. But it's to be a man is to cut off the friends, cut off the old behaviors, and just move on with life. Just move on. It's like at the end of the day, it's not worth it. And like it's really sad to me because and I hate to even say this or even speak this out loud, but a lot of my friends they're gonna like they're gonna die or gonna keep going back, you know.
Oh
And
yeah.
it hurts. It definitely hurts. And I, you know, but
I get wind constantly, man. Like people reach out to me, and just yesterday I had my buddy's guy I've known for years. His kid's mom reached out. His son, who is actually younger than Christopher, so he's like 17, 18 years old, just had his first kid. And I
oh
was like,
wow,
oh, and I'm not going to mention his name because he's passed at
right,
this point, but I was like, oh, how's so and so doing? And she said, oh, honey, he passed away. And I was like, the fuck you mean? And he was a good ass dude, but it's
oh man.
constantly. And she told me, she was like, I reached out to your sister. I didn't have a way to get a hold of you, and it was actually a couple of years ago. But dude, there was a night that I was still in active addiction. It was before I went to prison, and or no, it was after I'd come home, and my buddy Kevin, he lived in the house next to me. I used to live in this cottage. And he had been texting me all night. And he's like, I'm fucked up. He was like, he was trying to stay sober. Well, I was fucked up. So I didn't want to go over there. I didn't want, you know what I mean? And he was right fucking next door. And he calls me and he's like, Chris, he's like, and we were talking back and forth. And the last message I got from him was like, it was like, Chris, I don't know if I could do this. I don't know if I could stay sober. And I was fucked up. So I was like, and dude, this haunts me to this day. I was like, I was nodding out and I was trying to like keep texting him, like just to tell him like keep his head up and shit. His girl came home. He had gotten a bag of dope and it had fentanyl in it. He had done the fucking fetty and he had a cigarette and the cigarette was still smoking in his fucking hand. And he was dead, and his girl had come home from fucking work, and she tried to revive him, called 911. Well, I wake up at like 3 a.m. and there's fucking cops and ambulances and all this shit outside. And I'm like, fuck. But dude, that's just it. Your friends are gonna fucking die. You get into that mentality, like that's the way that this game is.
Yeah, it definitely is. And like my whole, like, I'm not gonna say my whole body, but I have ink all over me that's just for my friends and just stuff that I've went through. And it's just, you know, one of the last things I said to one of my friends, and you know, God rest his soul, I was like, dude, because I called him one day, and the dope boy answered. I'm like, who is this? I'm like, what? I'm like, give so and so his phone. He's like, bro, I'm keeping it real with you, man. Your homie just sold his phone for a 20 rock. And I'm like, oh no. I'm like,
Dude.
and you know, God rest his soul, man. But no, one of the last things I said to him was like, dude, you're a crackhead. You're a fiend, bro. You're like, bro, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know? And he sent me like a little reel on Instagram like a day before he died, and I think I just double tapped it to like it. And you know, I found out somebody posted like, I can't believe this has happened, and it's a picture of him and his kid. And I'm like, and this dude that posted this plays a lot. Like he plays too much. Like he thinks shit, like he jokes about fucked up shit.
Yeah.
And I message him, I'm like, bro, that's not funny, dude. Like he really has problems, like, you know. And he's like, no, I'm really sorry, bro. And that's all he said. And I'm like, no. Like, and that has haunted me for so long, that the last thing I said to one of my closest friends was just, fuck you. You're, you
Oh,
know.
you can't, and you can't get hung up on that, dude. I will say one thing that I've learned throughout the years is I I don't say anything to anybody out of fear that it could be the last time that I ever say those words to him. You know,
Yep.
it's nothing major. It's nothing that I like, but you have to like take a step back and you have to understand like tomorrow's not given. You know what I
No.
mean? But you also didn't know. So it's nothing
Right.
that you should beat yourself up over. Dude, had I even as a fucking drug addict, had I got up and walked next door and just sat with Kevin until Jamie got home, it would have been, you know what I mean?
Right.
I would have felt better about myself, but ultimately God has a plan. The universe has a plan, whatever the higher power, whatever you believe in, it has a plan. And you're not going to control it. There's
No.
nothing you can do. If he was meant to go out, if your homie was meant to go out, they're going out one way or another, dude. Like
Yep.
it's predetermined. So Yeah, man, that's fucked up. Those are fucked up situations. And that's just it, dude. Like, even on the back end of having a drug addiction and the back end of being incarcerated, there's so many people that I've turned around and I've asked some of the homies with that I was locked up with, or asked some of the guys that I used to run around with, like, oh, what's so and so up to? Oh, bro, he passed away. Like, and it happens at such an exponential rate nowadays. Like, it's you can't even fucking keep up with it, dude. Like,
Yeah.
fentanyl is literally killing people by the fucking thousands every day.
Yeah. It's either the people that you were incarcerated with, it's either fentanyl, gun violence, or alcohol related, or
Yeah,
suicide. One of
bullshit.
the four, it's all, it's
Yep.
never, it's getting to the point where almost like, I'm 25 years old. It's getting to the point where I'm thinking like, are any of my friends ever going to die naturally? Like
Yeah.
it's like, that's the thing. And like, I was asked the other day, not the other day, a couple weeks ago by, by my boss, like, oh, well, have you been putting money away in your retirement fund, your Roth IRA? And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, because actually some kid that I grew up with the same day that he said that passed away. And I'm like, man, I don't even know if I'm gonna make it to that. Like it's just so much crazy. And it's not even like that. This kid that I'm speaking about, he was just a good dude. Didn't get high, didn't, died
Yeah.
in a motorcycle accident at 27, and I'm just thinking to myself, like looking at everybody around me, like what is going on? Like what like am I gonna make it? I mean, I know I'm gonna be fine because I'm doing all the right things and everything, but it's like it's so hard to look around you and even believe that you'll make it to 70 years old.
Yeah, dude. But I want to touch on this real quick because when you're in the midst of all that bullshit, you're not thinking about your future. And now that I'm 40 years old, now that I'm in a place in my life where I'm fucking happy, where I'm content, where I feel like I'm actually doing something, where I feel like I'm progressing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have goals long term that I want and that I'm striving for. And more times than none, I'll have like a weird chest pain. And I'm like, or I'll have like a weird pain somewhere, like, or I'll be short of breath. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, this is my past catching up to me. It might not even be, it's the damage that you do to yourself early on, too.
Yeah.
And then you get to that point where you're finally happy and you're like, fuck, my past is going to take me out the game, dude. Like,
Absolutely. I think about it all the time, even at
and I
25.
tell your sister that constantly, like, and dude, I fucking love your sister. Your sister she is an angel by all means, but she is the voice of reason when it comes to me and my barrage of fucking crazy thoughts that constantly just blow through my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get in these little funks where I'm like, dude, like my chest has been hurting or I'm short of breath. And she's like, you need to fucking relax. We'll go get it checked. We'll take care of it. Like it, but it's fucking scary, dude. Cause I'm like,
Yep.
now I'm pushing 40 and I look back on all the shit that all the needles I threw in my arm, and dude, for an IV user, I was very clean as an IV user. Like I used to buy boxes of fucking like needles. So I always had fresh, because that was one thing I was like, I'll never fucking share a needle with
Very
somebody.
rare that people do that.
Yeah. But I was so scared of getting some sort of weird fucking disease from somebody. So I was always clean about it. But there's still the dude when I was blowing cocaine in my veins. It's like
Ah.
that shit, like I'm lucky I didn't blow my heart up when I was doing it, but what damage did I do to my body long term? You know what I
Right.
mean? It's fucking
Right.
scary, dude.
That's like somebody just asked me yesterday, one of my friends. I went to Fitworks and I've been sitting in the sauna twice a week. And he's like, "What are you trying to clean yourself out for a drug test or something? Why are you trying to? What are you doing? What's going on?"
Oh,
I'm
dude,
just thinking,
saunas are so good for you, dude.
yes, and I'm sitting in them, and I'm just like, dude, like you got to remember, nothing's really in my body right now, but like everything from the past and even food that I've ate in the past week isn't necessarily the best food. And and I like to sit there and detoxify my body. And you know, you gotta drink over a gallon of water a day, in my opinion.
Yep.
And I don't know, like you know, I'm sitting there in the bathroom actually today. I'm like, damn, I actually like life now. I like life. My family's back around. Like, you know, like fuck. Like I wish like all the things I'm doing now, like, you know, I just wish that I could have did it earlier. But like I said earlier in the video, I would not be the person I am today if I didn't ever go through the things that I've went through. And, you know, I still even sit in my own apartment and I look at everything and I look around and I'm like, this ain't right. This ain't right. Why do I have all this stuff? Why is my rent paid? Why, why do I deserve this? You know, I think I'm guilty about it. Like I don't deserve any of this, you know? Um,
Well, that's you tell you do deserve all that. Like
I
you're
know.
anybody that puts in the work, and Noah, I can attest you've been doing the right thing. I mean, I even when you haven't done the right thing, you have called and you've been like, dude, I fucked up. You
Right.
know, and that's still, you may have fucked up, but you're still doing the right thing. So everything you have, you absolutely deserve. You deserve to be happy, bro. Like
You just
that's
you got to remember 10 years of not doing the right thing though, and then you finally start doing it right, and then all the rewards that come with doing the right thing and being a decent person, good things follow with all that. And
it's such a blessing, dude. Like
you know,
yeah, it I'm just gonna use the term. It's beautiful, dude. Like
yeah.
I look at my life now and I'm like, so like I said, I've started writing a book and I'm going back through all of my bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And going through all that bullshit's hard, dude. Like you know what I mean? Like
Oh,
it's rehashing the past. And that was one of my biggest reserves. I've had people tell me for years, like, hey, you should put this on paper. And I'm like, I don't like I don't want to go back through all that. Like because as a drug addict and as where we are in life, like we've gotten to this point, but we can kind of like put a black wall. There's like a black curtain there.
mm-hmm.
We think about it when we want to think about it, and then we can kind of push it back to the back of our memory. Like it is the past.
But you know what? And I like the thing that's behind you actually, that sign that's behind you. It says if you can't change the cards you're dealt, change how you play your
Change.
hand.
Yep.
I was dealt a decent hand and I fucked up how I played it. And
Yep.
that's my fault. It ain't nobody else's fault but me. And you know, the biggest thing with healing, in my opinion, is after, you know, because, you know, we've been through very similar situations. The biggest thing for healing is you have to put that down on paper and you have to write everything from growing up,
Yep.
from growing up, where you grew up, how you grew up, your brothers and sisters, your family, and when it all started, when you went wrong, when you know that, and that's I'm actually doing it right now, which is crazy that you're speaking about that. I'm doing it right now, like not right now, but you know, I'm in the process of I have a little composition notebook that I'm writing everything down, and it's hard. And I stopped after about 2 pages, and I'm like, I'll revisit this, you know, and I'm going to keep revisiting it and keep
Yeah.
revisiting it, you know, and, you know, just edit it where it needs edited eventually. And that's a part of healing, seriously. And, you know, another thing that I want everybody to know is coming home, or if you've been home for 5 years or 10 years, whatever, you have to heal where you were hurt and where you've hurt other
Yep.
people. You can't run. You can't run from
Yeah.
your problems. None of that. It's not going to work, you know. And at the end of the time, at the end of the day, not time, excuse me. You're just at the you're avoiding healing. At the end of the day, that's what it is. You're avoiding things, and
Yeah.
you got to step up and you got to face everything. You got to face everything.
No,
That's
listen, I've never liked AA because I
mm-hmm.
think it's real clicky and NA is real clicky and it's real like I don't know, it's weird and but it works.
It
So
does.
if you can take and dude, I have read the big book 100 fucking times and if you can take the lessons from the big book, I've literally I have rebuilt my life and done what I have done just incorporating the principles from AA.
Yes.
And and you know, learning to making amends and building relationships and forgiving yourself and so on. It just everything that the big book talks about. You don't have to go to AA meetings. Like it's great, but if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't fucking work for you. But it's part of growing, dude. And you have to be able to revisit your past. You have to
Mm-hmm.
look at the face and say, fuck you. Like you have to, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's just part of growth.
And you know what's funny too is one the kid that I went to school with, he I'm not gonna mention his name. It doesn't even matter, honestly, he's relevant. But he shared that when I was all fucked up and drunk and on drugs, when I caught that robbery case, he shared it and was like, I went to school with this loser ass bum drug addict and just
Hey,
everything he could possibly say. And I messaged him just actually a few weeks ago. And I said, you know what, bro? I said, thank you for saying that about me, dude. I said, thank you. Because you know what? I'm proof that I'm living proof that people can change. And he's like, oh man, I forgot about that. I didn't even mean to. And I'm like, bro, I'm not asking for an apology. I'm not.
right.
You know, I use people that speak down on me, and I know there's people to this day that speak down on me. I use that as my motivation to get better and to become a better man every day. You know.
Well, we have a similar story. So the day that I got arrested for all my felony charges, I was all over the news. I was on 358, 19. I was all over the fucking newspapers. My mom didn't leave her house for like a month, dude, because she was
Ah,
like, she was embarrassed. And that breaks my heart, dude.
yeah.
But I remember my sister had gone online. And while I was incarcerated, she told me, she said, all your homies that you grew up with, all of your best friends are the ones that are all on Facebook and social media being like, oh, this dude's a fucking straight piece of shit. Fuck him.
Yep.
He's trash, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay. And you know, I never addressed it. Not with them. And I still never have to this day. Because, like you said, dude, that's fuel for the fire.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I'm coming out and I'm coming out swinging. And I'm going to show every one of you motherfuckers that I could be a fuck up, but I can learn my lesson and I could still do it just as well as you could do it. And that's exactly what I've done. And it's funny because I've run into several of them. Actually, I've run into, I think, the four that were really talking shit. I've run into every single one of them. Never brought it up, and I won't, because that's your opinion, and that's fine. It's my
Everybody's
fuel,
entitled to it. Everybody's
and you're
entitled.
entitled to your own opinion. Yet, did it hurt when I found out that all my homies were fucking running their mouth and fucking had such an opinion about their best friend? No, like
Yeah.
we're friends. You should have sat back and shut the fuck up. Like I was going through some shit. You knew I was going through some shit. If anything, you should have been the bigger man and reached out and been like, hey, what can I do to help?
Right.
You know? But that's okay. I get it. Everybody's on their own level at all different times. So, but it's so great. And I I say this time and time again because I've gotten friend requests from all of them on Facebook. And this was like shortly after I came home. So
Yeah.
I immediately accept them because motherfucker, you're gonna watch what I do for the next fucking remainder of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And they have. And dude, they've
Yep.
all reached out to me and they've all been like, dude, we love you. You're doing fucking
Proud of
great.
you.
We're proud of you, dude. Like you're doing fucking big things. And you know what? I gotta tell you, Noah, still to this day, as much as it hurt to find out that they were fucking saying what they were saying online, I still love those fucking dudes. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it we were all young, we were all fucking stupid. They didn't understand the importance of maybe lending a hand and helping out, so on and so forth. But it's I post so much shit to social media because I dragged my family's name through the mud so fucking bad that I just want to show every motherfucker out there, look what I'm doing.
Right. And that's
Like,
another thing too, is people will think it's a flex or you're trying to flex or something. Absolutely not. I'm the same way as
no,
you. I'm not
well,
trying to
no,
flex it. You are,
I'm
but you're not.
fucking flexing.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
fucking flexing, but there's a false sense of where everybody are. Okay, you're back. You were glitching there for a minute again. I got
Oh,
worried.
really?
But no, I'm fucking flexing. And I'm flexing because I've put in the fucking work and I've done what I've needed to do to be a decent human being. But I'm also not, you hear all these dudes that they're always like, oh, somebody that posts all that shit to social media, it's a false sense of happiness. And they're not really as happy as they say they are. And that may be the case in some scenarios. But bro, there's not one fucking thing that I ever put on social media that I don't mean from the bottom of my heart. If I
Absolutely.
post about your fucking sister nonstop because I fucking love that woman. I
Yeah,
post about my kids nonstop because I fucking love and my kids are fucking amazing.
they are.
You know?
They are.
And I
And you know
post about
what?
what I'm doing in life because I'm proud of what the fuck I'm doing.
It's
It's a flex, but it's not a false flex, dude.
right. And people like me and you and other people that have been on this podcast, and this is my personal opinion. First of all, as a man, you have to be operating at your highest potential. Like you have to
Yeah.
strive for that. That's what you have to strive for. But us as ex-convicts, be like I said, however long it's been since you've been released, we have to double up. We have to be twice
Oh,
as good.
triple
You
up, bro.
triple, quadruple it. And and I tell everybody that they're like, "Wow, that's a really good way to look at it." I'm like, "No, it's serious, and I'm not going to lose. I'm not going to lose."
Yeah.
I,
Well, that's the mentality you have to have. And that's you and I have talked about it numerous times. And that was my mentality going into prison. You have to go in if you're willing to make that change and you're ready to make that change and you're fucking sick of that life. You have to know you're going in and you're coming out swinging, dude. Like
right.
you're doing whatever it takes. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
all right. Well,
It's
I do want to talk real quick, but then we could get back on some other shit. So you out of fucking nowhere just decided to run a half marathon.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do in these days of darkness? What you gonna create? You gonna sit there and whine and cry, or you gonna use the creative powers, the creative juice your God gave you?
Don't expect people to understand you. Don't expect it to make sense to anybody why you've got to do this.
So you ran a fucking half marathon, and now your dad did the Ironman. Like you come from a fucking family that's, I mean, you guys are athletic. You know, your brother plays college baseball. You just out of fucking nowhere decided to run a half marathon, which still fucking blows my mind.
I come from endurance athletes. That's just what's in my blood. I can run like a rabbit. I can run for days. For that half marathon, I started training in the beginning, or actually the end of July. So it was about July like 28th to the 30th. I started training then, and the half marathon was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame half marathon, and on October 8th, and I ran it in an hour and 28 minutes, and it was a good race. It was 25-mile-an-hour headwinds from mile 9 to mile 13.1, and I wasn't expecting that. I'm pretty sure I could have ran at least 4 minutes faster if I wasn't dealing with that at the end of the race. But yeah, it's I think like why I did it, because there's a lot of stuff going on with my mom. Like I did live with my mom at the time when I started running, and I like kind of sat down with myself. Just some really bad stuff was going on, and that situation's all over now. My mom's okay, everything's good, but I sat down with myself and just kind of spoke to myself, and I was like, Noah, you're either gonna die, go back to prison for even longer than you just did, if you don't do something now. You have to occupy yourself, and you have to almost beat yourself into the ground to the point where you can't even think about this situation that's going on right now. But I also told myself I have to deal with this situation that's going on, and I have to handle it, but also at the same time beat myself down so hard that I can't even be like, oh, poor me, because there ain't no poor me in these situations anymore.
Yeah.
I don't, so yeah, I finished, I got to see you guys. You guys came out, and it meant the world to me, honestly. It really did. It was my first.
Missed it for anything, dude. When
I
I
know,
found out
man.
you were
You
doing
guys,
it, yeah.
I was checking my phone, and I'm like, because my mile splits are going off on my phone, and I'm like, I told my sister and Chris that I'd be done before 9, and it was 2 minutes before 9 that I finished, and I'm like, I'm sitting there, I'm not sitting there, I'm fucking running, but I'm like, I gotta hurry up. Like I said, 9 o'clock. I said I gotta stand on that. It has to be before 9 o'clock that I finish. So yeah, I came in at 8:58 in the morning, and Yeah, it was a good day. It was definitely a good day.
It
I
was,
have
man. I was super proud of you. That was, I'll tell you what, there is, and this is another, it's another, just, it's an opportunity of growth. I don't know. It's, I fucking love watching the people that I love succeed. You know what I mean? And
absolutely.
I love watching them flex and I love watching them do big things. And that was part of my reason for doing the podcast, because I want to fucking show people that, like, we're still humans, we're still athletes, we're still fucking monsters. Like, that's like, we've changed our lives, but we're also doing amazing things. And dude, you did a fucking awesome thing. Like, that was fucking it. And I want to reiterate, you never ran a half marathon or a 5K or anything before that, did you?
No, see, I have see the funny thing about it is the last time that I saw my sister before this past half marathon was at a cross country race that I did in 8th grade.
Okay.
It was my last time. That's the last time that I saw my sister, which was over 10 years ago. And I just think it's funny or coincidence, whatever. It's just our God, honestly, God. You know, the last time I saw her was at a cross country race before I got real fucked up and started being bad. And then the next time that I saw her again is at another running race. And it's honestly kind of like hard to believe sometimes that just how everything's just like playing out. I never thought that I'd have my sister back. I never thought that, but it's all because I'm doing the right things, and I know she didn't cut me off because like she didn't love me or she didn't want me around. It's because like you
Oh
can't
no, it wasn't.
you
It
can't
wasn't.
watch somebody destroy yourself. You
Well,
can't
it
watch.
wasn't her. I'll tell you, it was me. When you were
Yeah.
fucking up, and when we were talking to Marty, I 100% told Marty. I said, and I told you. I told you when you had gone away. I said, until you get your shit together, your sister's not part of your life because she doesn't need that stress.
No.
But since then, it's like, dude, you're making strides, dude, and that's all that fucking matters. And the overall want, the conversations that you and I have and the conversations you have with her, and it's the overall want to just do better. Like, your sister loves you. Your sister wants you in her life just as much as you want her in yours. She's watched me implode. She's watched me like fuck up, and
Yeah.
she doesn't want any more of it in her life,
No.
but you're doing great things, dude. And I could tell you, dude, she has been so fucking proud of you. Like, she tells all of her fucking friends that her brother ran a fucking half marathon, and she put it all over Facebook, and she's proud of you, dude. We're both proud of you, and you're doing fucking good. And we just want you to continue to do good. You just always have to understand there's obviously, if shit goes south, then shit pulls away,
Mm-hmm.
But just like you were saying, beautiful things come to people who work for them.
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing awesome things. You're putting in the work. You are, and you're seeing that come back tenfold. I mean,
Yeah.
you're talking to your dad now. Your dad, when you were fucking up, when you went to prison, he had basically, I remember a conversation I had with your dad. He basically said, he was like, I need you to talk to him. I can't talk to him. Like,
At the time, I wouldn't listen to anything he had to say.
Well, but it was, I think he was in the same standpoint of, he didn't want to listen to anything you had to say either, and that's
Yep.
Marty, and that's fine. But it's, but you're seeing these relationships come back around. Like, and I want to touch on that real quick too, because, when you start putting in the work, you'll start seeing rewards.
Absolutely.
It may take a while because, hey, you fucked a lot of things up in your past. I fucked a lot of things up in my past. My mom has no reason to speak to me still to this day. And my mom and I have the best fucking relationship I talk to my mom for 2 hours a day while I'm out on the road.
It's your mama though, she'll
It
love
is,
you.
but I mean,
Yeah.
but it's those relationships come back around. If you're willing to put in the work, and I encourage anybody listening to this, if you have a strained relationship, put your best foot forward, continue to put your best foot forward and just put in the fucking work if that relationship means anything to you. And the relationship with your sister has obviously meant something to you because you've put in the work, you know?
Absolutely. And that's the biggest reward. And I tell everybody that since I've been out, the biggest thing that God gave back to me since I've been out is my little brothers, my sister, you know, and he blessed me with you and dude, honestly, if I didn't, I don't have like anybody that's been in the same situation and you're married to my sister, you know, like I think everything happened for a reason. Everything was lined up in the exact order that it needed to be. And I think everything, you know, it all worked out. And I have a good example sitting right in front of me. And we've been on here for a while, and you're just the best example that I've had since I've came home that's been in the same position, because, you know, a lot of people that come out, they have all these people telling them how to do things. And I don't want to listen to that because you've never been in my shoes. You know,
it's all POs and it's all bullshit. Like they don't know. They know?
But it's everything. Life gets better. It really fucking does. And it's, you know, I just, you know, walking down the street, I'm breathing, and it's like you could feel the sun on your skin, and it sounds corny, but you're just like, damn, life ain't too bad. And I remember sitting like in some really fucked up places, like, damn, man. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here right now. But, you know, just simple things now are just like, I enjoy them, and it means so much to me, dude. It really does. It's, you know, and you
learn to appreciate the little things.
Yes, absolutely.
That's how you know you're in a good spot. When I can wake up in the morning and walk downstairs and start a fire and just sit on my couch with my pit bull and fucking stare at the fire for an hour and be 100% in my element, I know I'm doing the right thing, dude.
Yeah, you know, and it's a beautiful thing. It really is. And, you know, everybody, another thing too is like that I want to tell people on here is, if you've been fucking up for years on end and you come home and people are kind of pressing you on why are you not getting things together this fast? You got to remember, you've been fucking up for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. It's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to come home and immediately.
You do that shit in your own time. Fuck what anybody else says.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's what everybody needs to know that has been incarcerated. Don't live on other people's time, because it's about you and you.
Well, no, go.
No, I'm just saying, it's you can't let other people's opinion of how you're doing things. You can't let that get in your head, because if you know you're doing the right thing and you know you're making progress, even if it's baby steps, you're doing the right thing. And that's all that matters.
The only fucking version of success that ever matters is your version of success. Absolutely. I don't have a fucking Bentley sitting in the driveway. My house is fucking 1,500 square foot. Yeah, we live in a nice neighborhood. I have fucking $150 in my checking account right now.
I have about,
you know what
5.
I mean? Huh?
I have about 5. So
hey. But what I'm getting at is, your sister's going to come home from being out with her friends this afternoon. We're going to have a great night. I'm going to be able to go up to my bedroom tonight and lay my head down and be asleep in 5 minutes flat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be able to wake up tomorrow morning and fucking appreciate everything that I have in my life. I'm thankful for everything that I have. I could pick up my phone right this second and call my mom, my son, my daughter, Flynn. I could call Flynn's dad, and Flynn's dad will answer the phone.
Yeah.
And I could tell them all, hey, I appreciate you. I love you. And they're going to say the same thing back to me. You know,
what
that's success.
It is. And you know, a lot of people, I'll call them, or I'll text them and tell them like, hey man, I love you. You know what I'm saying? Or they'll be like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm good. What do you mean? Like, I can't say I love you. Like, you know, I can't tell you that I care about you. I can't. And they're like, oh no, it's just weird, man. It was out of nowhere. And I try to do that as much as I can now. Because people really don't know, that haven't been in the positions we've been in, how much your family and the people that really care about you mean to us. You know, And we've heard
Yeah.
them so much. We've heard them
Yeah.
so much. Some of them shouldn't even be around, like you've been saying.
But not even that, man. Just to be in a state of love on a daily basis, to be able to, dude, I have buddies that I can literally call, and it's the same thing. I'll be like, hey man, I like, we'll be getting off the phone. I'll be like, love you, bro. And they'll be like, what? But you have to adopt, that's part of healing too, dude, is learning to love and learning to appreciate and just, you just have to fucking, that's what's wrong with society today, dude, is society fucking hates each other. It's blacks versus whites versus Mexicans versus fucking trans versus gay versus all this fucking bullshit. And if people would just take a step back and realize that the shit that they're fucking like mad at each other about really is irrelevant and minuscule, it's pointless. And just learn to say, I love you. I learned to say, I don't give a fuck if you're a chick that fucking wants a dick. I don't give a fuck. Like, are you a decent human being? Are you a decent human being? That's all I give a fuck. Are you out like fucking kids? Are you out like being an asshole on a daily basis? I don't give a fuck if you're not.
Absolutely.
People need to learn how to love, man. And I'll tell you, that's one of the biggest things that has helped me grow, is just being positive and being able to say I love you and mean it, and just being thankful, being gracious. I hold doors open for everybody. I'll have grown men look at me like, why is this fucking 7-foot gorilla holding the door open for me?
Yeah.
And he walks by looking at me weird. I'm like, hey man, hope you have a nice day. You know, like, just do the next best thing.
Right. Absolutely. It's, and that's it. I'm not saying it makes me feel, it does make me feel good, just like, because like when just holding the door open, like you said, or just helping somebody in the smallest ways, like, it makes me feel good, because you know what? I can't fucking stand when somebody's like just rude to me for no reason. It's like, bro, I don't even know you. I've never seen you in my life, and you're being rude to me for what? You must be having a bad, and you got to think about people like that. Like, you must be having a bad day or something, or you're just,
don't know, you don't ever know what somebody else is going through.
Absolutely. And you can't judge.
But if you also take that mindset into every interaction that you have with somebody, then it'll help you be a better person too. Because dude, your sister fucking railroads me constantly, because we'll be out and I'll start cussing at somebody. I'll start wigging the fuck out. And she's like, you need to chill. Like, you don't know what the fuck they're going through, you know? And that's, somebody could be fucking getting their ass beat on a daily basis at home. Somebody could, and it's all trauma, man. And you don't know what somebody's going through.
Yeah.
But you need to love people regardless. You need to fucking bury your bullshit. So yeah.
This was good, man. I'm happy you commented and told me to get on.
I was sitting here and I was like, I'm fucking bored. Like, your sister's out with her fucking friends. And I'm like, I said, Noah still owes me a fucking episode. I was like, I'm hitting him up. We're doing it now.
Yeah. Okay. I was just sitting here. I was watching TV. That's pretty much it. Cleaning the house. So I'm like,
good, man. I'm glad we got to do this.
Yeah.
Well, listen, then I'll start to wrap this up, but dude, I want you to know, man, I am here for you through thick and thin.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you fall off the fucking rails, which you're not going to, because I will fuck you up. I'm still here for you, dude. I love you. I think you've been doing amazing things. I think the honesty that you've exhibited over the last couple months has just been where I'm not going to lie. I mean, I came home from prison. I've played the game. I've known what to watch for. I was hesitant of you when you came home.
Mm-hmm. Everybody was.
Well, but at this point, dude, I fucking love you. Like
when
you shoot me little messages, like it was fucking 5 a.m. and I was rolling through Atlanta and you and I were fucking shooting the shit like at 5 a.m. in the morning. You know what I mean? Like, I look forward to talking to you. Like, I can be honest with you. I can be real with you. I don't feel like you have a malicious bone in your body. It's you've been a victim of circumstance. You took the hard road like everybody else, but you're young. You've learned your lesson. and you're beginning to grow as a man.
Mhm.
And I fucking love that I can watch it and be a part of it and be there for you in any capacity that you need, dude. And I will always be here in any capacity. If your sister, because she drives like shit, gets in an accident and passes away, I'm still here for you. God forbid.
Right.
We're not,
Right.
not to even say that. I shouldn't have
Right.
even
Right.
said
No,
that,
I
but
know. It's
but
dude. It's the same with you, man.
she's a
Dude,
shitty driver, though.
Hey, I was gonna say that too when I was coming home from the race with you guys. I'm like sitting there. I'm like, you good? Like, are you good? Like,
Her fucking dude, we took her mom to breakfast yesterday morning, and her mom
Yeah.
literally on the way was arguing with her the whole way. And she's like, "Will you pull over and let Chris drive?" She's like, "You're scaring the shit out of me."
yeah. That's. I was
But no,
like,
man, I not to get off topic. No, I fucking love you, dude. You're a
Love you
great
too, man.
kid. I've loved watching you grow. You running that fucking half marathon, and it was right after another guy that I had on. He was the James Anderson. He ran an ultra. It was 100 miles, and it was
Yeah, I
literally
saw
the
that.
day he finished. You finished the day after,
Oh, really?
or you went and ran your half marathon the day after. So it was a lot of like emotions. It was a lot of like guys that I love doing awesome things, and I appreciate you, man.
You too, man.
Anytime
Seriously.
you want to call, I'm here for you, dude.
I got for people on here, my Instagram is hold on just a second, because anybody that wants to reach out or has any questions, my Instagram is Noah OH216. And if you have anything that you just want to bring up or talk about, I'm always here. I'll answer.
Tell you what I'm gonna do. Christopher, my son, which I'll plug him real quick. It's Web Maven. You can go to the plugs page. He's got a link on there. If anybody needs web design done, Chris, he does it cheap. He's a college student. That's how he's like making his money in college. He does a great job. He built my website, webuildmonsters.org. But he just put a plugs page up. It's called The Plug. If you go on to webuildmonsters.org, I will link your Instagram into the plug.
Okay.
And then anybody that wants to reach out to Noah can hit him up on there. He's a great dude. Like he's got life experience. He's not a dumb kid. He's smart as fuck. He does some dumb shit, but we all do dumb shit. So
thanks, man. Listen, Chris, dude, I love you, man. It's great that everything is going. Everything's okay again, you know?
No, man, anything you need. I mean, outside of the last $126 I have in my checking account, I'm here for you, brother.
I appreciate it, man.
We're gonna make it big at some point, and then that shit won't even matter. But
one day.
So all right, brother. Well, I love you. I will let you get off here. Hey, to anybody, I'm gonna plug Tinder real quick because that's where I met Noah's sister. She's the Tinder. And no, thanks for checking everything out today, guys. Noah, again, I love you, man. And we'll check you next time on the jungle.
Thanks.
See you.
Peace.
Shut the fuck up!